Lyndon Labayan.
Hi guys, my name is Lyndon. I'm a software developer, hobby wedding videographer, and I'm losing my voice. Or maybe I'm getting it back slowly, I don't know. I want to take a quick break from like camera news and lens news and like all the S1 and S1R2 like overheating debacle. It's like happening with like all the influencers right now, like all of them, but like basically all the Lumix ones. And I want to talk about my gimbal, the Cinepeer 4E from ZHIYUN. ZHIYUN sent this gimbal to me earlier this year, and I made an initial thoughts video with my buddy Vince from Adventures Within Media. We tested it out, made a quick video. But now that I've gotten a few shoots in with the thing, I decided to make a follow-up. So ZHIYUN did not ask for this video. It's not sponsored. They did send it to me, and I get to keep it now. Apparently I get to keep it, so thank you, ZHIYUN. Spoiler, I actually enjoy it. I actually like using it. I'll tell you right now, up front, for 549 Canadian, this gimbal is literally almost a no-brainer. The gimbal itself is a very simple device. It should be anyway, right? Especially as like a wedding videographer. I'm not doing any action shots. You know, I'm not hanging out of cars. I'm not strapping this thing to a rig or anything like that. I'm holding it two hands, sometimes one hand. I'm doing basic movements. I'm doing push-ins, pull-outs, orbits, and like tracking shots, and like that's it. And when it comes to the gimbal, it's like minimum barrier to entry. Like, can you at least do these staple movements, regardless of the brand and model, and have it behave exactly like how you're expecting it to behave? Well, spoiler, the thing can do it, right? The 4E can absolutely do that. Mainly what I've been using on this thing was the 24-105. But for weddings, I've been using the 28-45 from Sigma 1.8. So this is a pretty hefty setup. This is the Lumix S5 IIX with the small rig cage, with the Sigma, and with Peter McKinnon's like Hexlock Maglock VND system in the front here. So this is a pretty hefty system. Now this thing comes in at $549, okay? $549. We'll talk about the other the competition to give you more context there, but $549, 10 pounds with this extended arm. I say extended, you might not see it as extended, but like other gimbals at this price point have much smaller arms. So being able to mount something heavier or front heavy, you have to push the camera back. And other gimbals at this price range, one, you're not going to get the same payload capacity. But even if you were able to balance this on the smaller gimbals, you may not have the same distance between the back of the camera and the front of the rear motor, of the rear arm here. It's wild that they're able to do that at this price. Okay, so I'm ready to like talk about the pros here. We'll just keep going with the pros. One thing I noticed after a day of shooting with this thing was the battery life. They advertised, I think, like 13 or 12 hours for a full charge on this thing. Now it's got 5 bars as the for like the battery indicator. Yeah, I made a point to not turn it off during the day, only putting it into standby when I would remove the camera, pop the camera back on, or taking it out of standby. That was roughly like 4 to 5 hours. You would expect this thing to be like around half, but it was 1 bar down. You know, it used up 1 bar's worth of battery life. So clearly they're conservative with the estimated battery life on this 4E. As far as like how it feels and the general balance of the thing, I am now ultra spoiled with this wrist rest and this arm here. The what do they call this? They call this the Master Move. ZHIYUN calls this the Crane 4 Master Move accessory kit. This is compatible with the 4E and the Crane 4. I guess they share the same like body type for like the handle. But yeah, this is a separate accessory kit that comes in at $199 Canadian. So it does add to the overall price, but man, I can't imagine now using this gimbal without it, because this arm, I can loosen this. You can put this in the sling mode here. You know, you'd hold like this and this is how you go sling. You under sling mode. This arm can be extended too, but like what I've found is I prefer this style of shooting. I'm gonna tighten it. Yeah, I prefer this now. You know, it's like almost like a two-handed style, and this wrist rest can be adjusted super easy. You just, oh, I gotta show you. And this wrist rest can be adjusted super easy. You just turn this little knob here and it goes up and down, just like that. So I prefer that like a little lower. but this is very comfortable. Full day shooting, even just like this is very comfortable. You know, ceremonies sometimes go like, 20 minutes, half an hour long or whatever. And if I'm not putting it down, if I'm just holding it, you know, I'll zoom in to 45 and I'll stand there and I'll be able to get my tripod-like shot just like that. You know, you would imagine something like this with a short stubby handle being top heavy and like hard to balance, but while this is the typical way to hold one of these gimbals, right, with the tripod legs in the handle mode. This is fine, and like I could do this too, but this is like, I'm totally spoiled now. I know DJI and Tilta have the huge like ring, but like, what if you don't want to use that ring, right? What if you don't want that profile to be this profile to be huge like that? So gimbal alone, $549, Master Move accessory kit, $199. It does put the price up. Okay, let's talk about the competition, because that's a problem I guess in Canada for me. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, like central Canada. We don't have, I don't know why, but like there's like, we don't have access to, like if you're not DJI, you're not carried in stores. Now had ZHIYUN not reached out, I would have never known about this gimbal or their gimbal line altogether. In terms of like size, this thing is like relatively the same size as like the RS4. The RS4 Mini lines up with the 3E, but the 4E lines up with the RS4 in terms of size. That thing comes in at 635 Canadian, but its payload maxes out at 6.6 pounds. That also means the arm is shorter. So even if I could balance this setup, even if I could balance this setup on the 4, chances are that top, like for the eye cut, the eyepiece is hitting the rear of the arm of that. The RS4 Mini, newer gimbal, you know, it came out, it's got the fancy tracking, the tracking module on the top. That's cheaper than this. That comes in at $439, but it's also, but they also cut the payload. That's down to 4.4 pounds. So that, I think with this is about, this is pretty much like 4.5 pounds. This will max that out. And I'll talk about why that's important later, but the RS4 Pro, which matches this payload, is slightly bigger, much longer arm to accommodate, you know, bigger setups. That's $1105 without the combo, like without the extra accessories. The RS4 Pro comes in at $1105 Canadian right now. Anyway, I don't see any sales posted on any sites, but huge difference. You know, it's almost like double the price of what this is without this Master Move accessory kit. So you really got to take that into consideration. Like, what the hell are you shooting? You know, what do you need a gimbal for? So beyond like wedding filmmaking, like if you're doing like commercials, shoots, maybe you do need something a little more robust. Like I don't actually know how well this will do strapped to a car. Okay, so we've talked about the pros, right? Like I'm gushing over this thing, especially for the price. Like especially for the price. I keep coming to that because I know money's not everything, but it's the universal enabler. And the more you're able to allocate to the things that count, the more you're going to be able to do with your wedding films. If I only need to allocate $500 to a gimbal to be able to do the basic things I needed to do, like this is going to be it. All right, let's talk about the cons here. So the first con, okay, is not necessarily with the gimbal itself, okay, but it's what ZHIYUN ships this with in terms of the mounting plate. The mounting plate is a standard, or like I guess it's standard now, right? Manfrotto's Dovetail. It's popular with their tripods and their monopods, so that's fine. But the plate that mounts on top of that is proprietary. I don't even know where it is. It's like this stuff is supposed to go into storage, so like stuff I don't need, I've tossed it into like all these bags here that you see behind me. But it's awful. Luckily, Small Rig makes a Arca compatible like dovetail plate for, well, they say it's for the DJI RS line, but because this thing fits the Manfrotto Dovetail, you have to remove this bottom rail here. I got multiple of these. I got like 3 of them now, but you have to remove this bottom like rail here because I guess the DJIs have teeth that they use to like move this back and forth or forward or whatever. But if you remove this, which I have, you're able to like, here, I'll just show you. I just whoop, whoop, 2 twists, 3 twists, and you just pop this off, and that's pretty much it. Now, I don't know why ZHIYUN decided to do that. I'm grateful that ZHIYUN's mounting plate at the bottom, though, is the dovetail from like the Manfrotto style dovetail, because it means you can use any Manfrotto style plate here to, I mean, if you have the right parts for it, you can mount almost whatever you want to it. That's a con that I was able to solve with a small rig accessory. This is the next one's a minor con, not a big deal. I'm not a fan of the gray. I don't know why. I just prefer the black. The normal Crane 4 is black. The Cinepeer line seems to be going with this like black and gray, almost Stormtrooper, but like Stormtrooper's like white and black. But all right, and the last con, but again, given the context of like the price and what this does, the last con might not even matter to a lot of people. And that's the fact that this thing does not have an auto locking feature. Like, I took the camera off, like you can see already this thing's like wobbling. It's still manual locks, and that's fine, right? If I take into account the price, the payload, and how this thing feels and how it performs and how it acts when it's like in action, it's fine. But especially at a wedding, when I mean I've got this awesome small rig quick release plate now. When I'm quick releasing this thing, putting it into standby or turning it off, popping the camera off, it would be nice if it auto-locked, right? So I'm not like, arms aren't flailing around. DJI is the only one who's doing it. Whatever brands are out there, they're clearly not, no one's talking about them. The only other gimbal that competes with this from DJI is the RS4 Pro, and that comes in at $1105 Canadian. Double the price, essentially double the price. It's like it's $550. Without any kits or accessory kits from either brand, the RS4 Pro is essentially double the price. Knowing what I know, like, I'm gonna pick this because all I need it to do is the basic moves I need it to do and carry potentially, 4 to 5 pounds of payload. I'll mention 10 pounds as far as like payload overhead doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I'm gonna push it to a limit by carrying 10 pounds. That's not what that's for. Okay, what it allows for, in this case, especially for wedding filmmaking, if you were going to use, so this doesn't zoom out, but if you were going to use, well, and I talked about this in my previous video, if I use the 24-105, right, with this kit, it's about 4 pounds or 4.5 pounds. If I balance that thing at 24 and I extend that barrel all the way to 105, it's no longer balanced. But these motors, with the power to be able to hold and carry and balance 10 pounds worth of payload, gives you the overhead to have it imbalanced and still have it perform smoothly. The RS4 Pro, I'm sure, would just do just fine. But at $1105, that's steep. That's double the price. $500 for 10-pound payload and auto locking might be a lot for someone who just wants to shoot weddings. Like $500 is, shoot, that's a really nice 32-bit float audio recorder. It's a nice cob light, $500 is a lens. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. It is, again, a nice break from like all the camera and lens news. I'm just like getting so tired of, I mean, I still love watching all those videos. Like, I love my YouTubers, like, we're gonna love like cameras, but like, it is nice to be able to just chill out and talk about a gimbal, something different. Anyone who's messaged me about like camera gear for like wedding videos, comes to gimbals, I would say, check out the 4E if you can. Yeah, that's another problem, is like ZHIYUN has no real presence in North America. I can't go to a Best Buy or Henry's to test this out. So you really got to rely on like YouTubers and like YouTube videos to get the gist across. But check out the links in the description, because I might have affiliate links posted up there. Okay, I will have an affiliate link ready, and I'm gonna have a code for 10% off. It can be used for either the 4E gimbal itself, the Cinepeer 4E. Is it called it's Cinepeer Crane. It's called the Cinepeer Crane 4E. It's gonna be for the 4E gimbal itself and for the Master Move accessory kit. So you're gonna get this and this. You can get 10% off for both. So check out the links in the description. I'm gonna get a small kickback if you do. So yeah, but regardless, even without that, like, I'm still, this is my new gimbal for my 10 pound kit. This is the gimbal. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.